Welcome to Taiji's Kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make two types of steamed buns, one with meat filling and also sweet bean paste filling. These steamed buns are originally not Japanese and of course Chinese, but this is something that we incorporate in our culture. There are several famous stores in Japan that sell these, and also if you go to a convenience store all year round they serve this, and so it's just a popular food or also a snack in Japan. And I recently just had an urge to have some of these, and it was actually not that difficult at all. So I just wanted to share this recipe with you so that you can enjoy this as well. So like I said, I'm making two variations of this, one with meat filling, in Japanese these are called nikuman, and the other with anko or sweet red bean paste. These are both very popular in Japan. And these are usually steamed, and if you have a steamer like this, then it's great. But today I'm showing a variation using a frying pan, because not every household would have a steamer like this, so I'm trying to make this accessible for you as well. Then, let's get started. Here are the ingredients for nikuman or steamed meat buns, and also an man or sweet red bean paste buns. Here are the ingredients for the dough for the buns. Here are the ingredients for meat filling. So for the outer layer of the buns, I have regular dried yeast and also baking powder. Somehow using both yeast and the baking powder will give the bun more fluffier texture. And then sugar, salt, all-purpose flour, and sesame oil. And for the meat filling, I have here minced pork meat. If you can't eat pork, you can also substitute this with minced beef meat. And then onion, garlic, ginger, and also have dry shiitake. If you don't have this, you can skip this as well, but this will give a little more depth to the flavor. And I'm also gonna have green onion. Then for the seasoning, I have here oyster sauce, soy sauce, and black pepper. And for the red bean paste buns, I'm gonna be using pre-made anko, but of course you can make this yourself. If you're interested in that, you can watch my other video on how to make anko. Then let's get into it. So as the first thing, I'm gonna make dough for the buns. In this video, I'm gonna be making also meat buns and the sweet bean buns. I'm gonna make it with a doubled amount, but if you're making only with one of them, you want to make this in half. Making dough like this, or sometimes I may also bake, I usually use a pan like this because it has a handle and so I can hold it really strongly, but whatever container you have is fine. First, I'm gonna put in about 150 milliliter of lukewarm water. In this, I'm gonna put in about 2 teaspoons of sugar. And then I'm gonna mix it well and let it dissolve. And then in this, I'm gonna put in the dry yeast. So this is 7 grams, this is perfect. So I'm gonna put the whole thing. Then in this, I'm gonna put in about 300 grams of all-purpose flour. So I usually use a little bit less so that I can decide later if I wanna add in a little more. Then in this, I'm gonna put in about half teaspoon of salt. And in this, I'm gonna put in about 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Then this, I'm gonna put in about 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, or any frying oil will do. Then we're gonna mix this up. Then once it got so clumped like this, I'm gonna use my hand and try to knead this in the pot. And this is why I like to use a pot like this, so I can grip this strongly like this, and then knead it inside the pot like this. And you want to knead this for at least 2 or 3 minutes or so that the dough will build up the gluten network. And how you want to knead this is that you want to bring the outer layer from outside and then in, outer layer inside, outside, inside. And once you got to this point, it might be easier to knead on a working spade like this. And then you make a clump like this, and then put back inside the pot, and then I'm gonna put the lid on top of it, and then we're gonna let it rest and let the yeast grow, at least half an hour in summer, an hour in the winter. Now as we're waiting for the dough to grow, let's prepare the filling. So as the first thing, we're gonna let the dry shiitake soak in the water. And to speed up the process, I usually use a warm water, and for this recipe you don't want to use too much water, just enough to cover the whole thing. And then we're gonna put it to the side. Now let's prepare all the ingredients. So we're gonna start with the garlic, and cut the bottom. Don't cut it all the way, and use the tip of the knife like this and then let it peel. Then you can peel this very easily like this. Then we're gonna grate this using a grater, just like that. Next, the ginger. I'm gonna take out the dry part and also peel off the skin. And then we're also gonna grate this. So just like that. Then next I'm gonna cut up the scallion. So for this, I want to make it really small. So I'm gonna make a slit like this. So this will be cut into smaller pieces. Then I'm gonna cut this into small pieces. And also onion, not gonna use the whole thing, probably just half of this will be enough. And if you have a bigger onion, you can use probably a fourth of it. And this, I'm gonna make slits like this. I'm gonna cut so that this part stays attached. Then I'm gonna cut like this. And then you have a diced onion like this. And you're only left for the bottom. And then the dry shiitake, then we're gonna cut off the stem like this. Then we're gonna cut up the dry shiitake in small pieces. So first in strip like this, and I'm gonna cut like this. Then with that, all the ingredients are prepared. Then now we're ready to make the meat filling. So this is about 100 grams of pork meat, ginger and the garlic, the cut up scallion, cut up onion, and I also cut up shiitake. Then here I'm gonna put in 2 teaspoons of soy sauce, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and just about the same amount of black pepper. Then about 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce. Then a 1/2 teaspoon of sugar. Then we're gonna mix these up. Oh yeah, I forgot, a tablespoon of sesame oil. And I think it's important to mix this with your hands because you want to make it thoroughly. And with chopstick or whatever utensil you may use, you can't really mix it that well. You really want to break out the meat and let it stick together so that it comes to a feeling like this. So then this is done for the dough. I'm gonna break it into 4 equal pieces. So just like that. So as the next thing, we're gonna prepare the filling for the sweet bean paste. And for that, what I need to do is make about the same amount of bowl like this. For this, it might be easier to kind of wet the hand just a little bit like this so the bean paste doesn't stick to your hand like this. So just like that. So this dough has been resting for about 30-40 minutes now. I'm gonna put it into working surface, and then I need a little bit more and let the air out. And then now this I'm gonna separate into 8 pieces. First in half, like this, and then one is for the meat bun and one is for the red bean paste buns. And this I'm gonna put into 4 equal pieces. And then make a bowl like this. And also this. And then these pieces, I'm gonna make it flat. Just with your hands, fine. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it inside part stay a little bit thicker, and then outside, I'm gonna try to flare out like this. So you wanna make it to a size like this, a little bit smaller than your hands, just about 15 centimeter diameter or so. So just like that. Let's put the filling. So how you want to do this, you want to put your dough like this, and scoop up the filling and put it in the middle like this. You want to pinch from the outside like this, and I'm gonna keep pinching like this, like pleats, like this, like this, like this. And as I do that, I'm gonna use my thumb here to push it inside, like this, so that this filling stays inside like this. Keep pinching, keep pinching. And important is that there's no hole inside. And then you have a perfectly shaped bun like this. Then I prepared a cut up baking sheet like this, and you want to put it on top of that so that it doesn't stick to the surface. So I'm going to show again. Cut the meat filling, and I'm going to keep pinching on the side like this. Like this. And then you keep pinching like this with your thumb, stick it inside like this. So just like that. So this method I just showed you takes practice. Don't worry if you can't get it on your first try. And now I'm gonna show you an easy variation how to do this. You can just pinch both sides like this from the side and also from the other side like this. And then this side and this side coming together, pinch, and this side and this side coming together, pinch, and then just kind of pinch everything together, and then you can make it like that. Make sure that there's no holes right here. This is as good, and it's much easier to do this way. As a beginner, I suggest you do that. Let's do the same thing with the sweet bean paste. And for this, you can also use the same technique like this. But for this, it's very important to wet your thumb right here so the bean paste doesn't stick to your finger. And put this inside like this. And just like that. And I don't know why, but somehow with this sweet bean paste buns, we put the round shape on top like this. Maybe to differentiate with the meat buns. And then we have the bean paste buns. And since unlike the meat buns, we put the smooth surface on the top, this one you can just pinch like this and then pinch from the other side like this. Pinch these two corners like this. And then pinch this corner and this corner, smush everything together like this. And you can do it this way as well, and then it's just so much easier. And then with that, I have finished with 4 meat buns and also 4 sweet bean paste buns. And then now we're ready to steam this. So for steaming, if you have a steamer like this, then great, use those. Make sure you don't put too much inside because they're going to puff up when you steam them. And how you're gonna steam with this frying pan is that I'm gonna use a baking sheet like this or parchment paper. I cut up into the size of the frying pan. I'm gonna put it in here. Then here I'm gonna put in the meat buns. And then when you're ready to steam, I'm gonna put some water from the side like here, and then you can steam. But for this recipe, I also want to let the dough rest a little bit and let it grow a little bit more. So I'm gonna put the lid on like this and let it rest for 15 minutes or so and let the dough grow a little bit. And today I made a little bit more portion of the sweet buns and meat buns. So what you can do is just steam it, as I will show you later. You can keep it in the fridge for about a week or so, or frozen for a couple months. And then when you want to eat, you just have to warm up again with steaming. Yes, it's not as good as you make it directly, but it's good enough. So you can make more of them and save it for later. I'm gonna wait like this for about 15 minutes or so. So 15 minutes has passed. As you can see, it's gotten a little bit bigger. Then we're gonna steam this. In order to steam this, I'm gonna put under this parchment paper some water. And then put the lid on, and then turn the heat to medium, and let the water first come to a boil. So as you see, the water has come to a boil. I'm gonna turn the heat to low and steam like this in low heat for about 15 minutes. So in between, when you realize that it's a little bit too little water, then you can let in a little bit of water from the side like this. So 15 minutes has passed. So I'm gonna turn the heat off. Oh, look at that, that looks so good. So you never wanna touch it with your hands because they're very, very hot. So just like that, these are finished. Then let's eat. Okay, then let's dig in. Itadakimasu. Let's start with the meat bun. Make sure you take out this parchment paper on the bottom. Let's see what it looks inside. Oh yeah, look at that. It looks so juicy inside. Even in Japan, this you eat with your hands. I'm gonna dig in. Itadakimasu. The meat is so juicy. Oh, this is so perfect. And you can also see the bun is really fluffy like this. So delicious. And for this, you can also put some mustard on it. I suggest putting a Japanese style mustard because the Western style mustard, they have a little bit of vinegar inside. You can put a little mustard on it. This also gives a little kick to the flavor. Itadakimasu. Oh, perfect. And some people also like to put a little bit of soy sauce on it. Gives a little more change in the flavor. So mustard and a little bit of soy sauce. Itadakimasu. So this already contains a little soy sauce, but adding a little bit of soy sauce to it gives a little more fresh soy sauceness to it. Now we just had a salty dish. It's time for the sweet dish. So in Japan, we don't eat this as a meal, but we eat more like a snack or dessert. Oh, look at that, so good. This bun goes also so well with the sweet paste. Oh, so good. Today I think I'm too full to eat the rest. I'm gonna save this for later. Oh, they were all so delicious. ごちそうさまでした. Oh, they were all so delicious. So as you saw, making these steamed buns is not that difficult at all. If you've never tried these things, it may seem a little bit complicated, but if you follow my steps, they're actually quite very easy and definitely worth trying. You may not succeed in the first time for putting the dough around, but I also show a very easier version of that, so you can try that in the beginning. However ugly they may look, the flavor is the same. So I really hope you give these a try yourself. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you could like button for me. And if you have any question or requests or any feedback, please feel free to write anything in the comments below. And if you want to see more of these videos, please subscribe. Otherwise, I look forward to see you in the next video. Bye.